My mother's memories live in photographs. My father's live in stories. I grew up surrounded by both. Family archives tell us that what is visible survives, that what is recorded can be known, that images hold memory still. This film lives in the gap between what remains and what cannot be shown.
Impossibile che è Frank. This is Josie, io, Renato, maybe a Gina. Cristo.
È sua.
No, who's this? The baby.
Io penso che siete una e uno.
I have to
One
look
of us?
at it. I think that's
Non
me.
è stata fatta.
Because Nonna is still alive. I don't know. Gee, you were born in... No, you know what?
No, it's probably
It
you.
could be Gina. No, it could be you. Because
I have to
Nonna...
look.
No, Nonna was still alive. You were born in 69, 70...
Nonna from mom?
No, this could be Gina.
Nonna from mommy?
Yeah. Maybe è Franda then.
Francesco, Giosa, io. E chissà che nessuno che sta qua. Da casa che chiamano Nord Creek, che fuori Camahì. Questo qua c'era come un muro e poi questa via c'era la scala che scendeva all'uato, era al fronte. E questo era il fronte della casa, da veranda, della casa. Questo qua è Giosa con lui. Ma quando sapeva di sposare, il frate di Fucchi, tu era noi, là non ci ricordiamo.
No.
Io guardando sotto i white. E poi allo brother ci ha detto, ma va guardando sotto i white è come un gelatare. Un frate si è sentito detto, no, ma io guardando i white sotto.
The island that Dad grew up was called Terceira. It's one of, I believe, 9 islands.
And what town were you from?
Well, Dad was in a lot of towns all the time, but the town that Dad lived was called Villanova. It was not too far from the airport. Dad used to always walk to all these little towns outside of where Dad lived because Dad liked to go and play soccer. Different friends that Dad knew or people that liked playing soccer.
Walked everywhere. So what were the streets like?
The streets were not large like here. Over there it's like one lane each way, but enough for a bus only to go from each side. A lot of the side streets, there were more gravel and dirt.
Were there different places you spent a lot of time at?
Yes, well, Dad used to spend a lot of time with some of Dad's friends. You can say they were like farmers. So they had like cows that they used to milk, horses, and they had like donkeys that we used to ride. Dad was involved in a marching band for the town. Dad also used to love going to the town soccer team, going to the soccer club to watch them train and help retrieving the balls and things like that.
What things were around the town? Were there different shops or cafes?
Dad remember one restaurant and they used to serve like American food, like hamburgers. They used to love going there. But Dad used to always love hanging around with his friends. We used to play marbles. We used to have one game that we used to play. It's almost like bowling, but it was just one pin. And then you had these small plates, but of steel, and that we used to try to hit the pin. So that was one of the games that a lot of people used to play on Sundays. I do remember that We were one of the houses that had a color TV. We had a small living room and a kitchen, a couple of bedrooms downstairs, and then there was like, we'd call it the attic over here, but there, the attic, we used to use it. And then I remember around the house, there was a lot of fields, there was a lot of cornfields, a lot of fields with fruits. That remembers eating when I was young was bread with butter and sugar on top of it. Dad used to like, that's Uncle the fireman, because he was the youngest. I remember all the time he used to always bring stuff that's American, like Coca-Cola and Pepsi and things like that.
And you went to school when you were there, right?
Oh yes, I remember going to school and 2, 3, or 4 classrooms, and teacher that I remember was a lady. She had a shorter leg. I remember she always limped because of that, and I don't remember her name.
And everything was in Portuguese, right?
English was when you went to high school there. In high school there, it's like a lot younger than here. There, then you can take different courses to teach you more like English or French or different things like that.
This is where my parents' memories begin to live in the same frame. But even the images from that time can't hold everything that was remembered. Some memories live just beyond the edges of the photograph. These places still exist, even as the voices that filled them fade. The gap isn't about replacing what was lost. It's where new memories begin to form what remains.